Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Project 27, powered by Duckett Ladd Dental CPAs and Advisors. I am your guide, Bill Ladd, here again to talk about ways to get better and become the best. What is that? That's your call. For me, it's the best version of myself. And last week, guys, I, in my haste, hopped on here and I put on my Kansas City Chiefs jersey. For those of you who don't know, we are based in Missouri, just south of Kansas City a bit, and I'm a huge Chiefs fan. I'm not going to lie about that. It is something that is a bit of an obsession for my family, but it's something we're kind of working through, and I'll tell you why. Last week, we had probably the greatest game in our franchise history, or one of them, where we defeated the Buffalo Bills, and I actually recorded a video about the lessons learned from that game. And you know what, guys? That was a great way to really unpack and kind of take my enthusiasm and put it out there for the world to see. But I was a little premature, right? And I'm not sure that video is going to see the light of the day, because now I look foolish because my beloved Chiefs have now gone down in spectacular fashion to the Cincinnati Bengals. And good for them. They are a good team, and they won that game, and we lost it. And so I probably will put that video in the archives at some point, because I think the lessons we pulled out of that Bills game were good. But in sense of fairness, I am going to spend time unpacking the loss. And it was much tougher. But I think what's interesting about this loss with the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and by way of time stamping this, today is January 31st, 2022. Yesterday, January 30, the Chiefs and the Bengals met at Kansas City at home for a chance for the AFC Championship, for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Chiefs have been many years in a row, and we've kind of got used to it, right? The Bengals haven't been in years, and they're a great story with a great young team and a great, exciting young quarterback. And we were all a little bit arrogant, probably a little bit cocky. But what the learning I really want to draw out of this game, and I think it's super interesting, and it really goes along with who we are as a firm and what we're trying to build at Duckett Ladd and what we're trying to help dentists do. And that's one word: momentum. And I think this game was an excellent example of how you can build up momentum to where it almost seems like you're unstoppable. But just like that, when you stop executing and you stop doing the little things, that momentum can go away quick. And once it goes away, it's really super tough to get back. So let's kind of unpack this. The first half, our quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, who is a great quarterback, and he's going to have many great years, was playing probably a perfect game. I think he had 2 incompletions. He had thrown for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he was rocking and rolling. Looked unstoppable. Their whole offense looked unstoppable. And they were doing things right. They were catching passes. They were doing their blocks, their blocking, tackling, whatever you want to call it. They were doing all of that. Their defense was playing well enough to hold the Bengals, an explosive team, to 10 points. And every step along the way was just building up this momentum where you thought there's just no way they're going to lose this. They're going to blow this team out. And there came a point where they were up 21-3. And they had held them to 1 field goal. They held their primary receiver to just a few yards. And the Bengals ended up scoring a touchdown. Defense had a little bit of a letdown, and they scored a touchdown. But they left 1 minute left on the clock. And just like he had been doing all game, Patrick Mahomes marched them down the field methodically. And ironically, he got, with 13 seconds left, which is a number Chiefs fans remember from the Bills game, he got them to pretty close to the red zone. And a pass interference play in the end zone brought it to the 1 yard line with 8 seconds. With all the weapons that the Chiefs have, this is an opportunity to punch it in, and you go up 18 into the half. That feels like an insurmountable feat for the Bengals to come back. It's 11 at that point. So first play, he had to throw it away. Was nothing there. The second play was the one where I think it changed everything. Because to get to the point where they had time on the clock, the Chiefs have had to use all their timeouts. It was the right time management strategy to try to give them enough time to march down the field. But what we did with about, I think, maybe 5 or 6 seconds, I don't remember exactly. What happened was Patrick Mahomes threw a ball to Tyreek Hill behind the line of scrimmage, and they tackled him inbounds, and the clock ran out. And they didn't have an opportunity to kick a field goal to add 3 points to make it a two-score game, and they didn't punch it in to make it an 18-point game. So instead of basically, probably making it extremely tough for the Bengals to come back, they left these points on the board. And I remember at that time, I thought, man, that feels significant. We should have added some points here. Because back several weeks ago, when the Bengals played the Chiefs in regular season, they actually came roaring back and held us to 3 points and beat us at their home. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, man, this feels very, very similar. So they go into halftime, and the Chiefs get the ball coming out half. And I remember thinking, okay, if they go down, they score, good to go. They get a stop. The Bengals get the ball back, and they start driving, and they start going. And I will say this, the Bengals didn't necessarily grab the momentum and run with it right off the bat, but slowly they started doing things right. The Chiefs, who were doing everything right, who were doing all the X's and O's, who were catching passes, advancing the ball, making tackles, they weren't doing any of that, right? They were dropping passes, third downs, they were not converting on third downs, which were requiring forcing punting. And the Bengals, a great team, were capitalizing on those mistakes. And slowly but surely, this momentum that had been almost at a crescendo right before half, that would have been almost impossible to overcome, it started to go down. And once it started to go down, what you saw is Patrick Mahomes started to get rattled. And we're not used to seeing that. And as a leader on that team, everybody's looking at him. And you know what? That is a tough position to be in. And I don't envy him for that. But guess what? In your business, if you're a leader, people are looking at you too. As a leader at Duckett Ladd, people are looking at me. And when they see that things that were going so well are now starting to go poorly, what are they doing? They're looking at you to see how you're responding. And to be honest, no slight on him, he did not respond well. He started getting rattled, making poor decisions, and the entire team started to make poor decisions. And all of a sudden, that momentum, like I said, that had been building up to a crescendo, started to kind of compound itself in the opposite way, in a negative way. As we kind of moved on through the game, you saw more and more people making bad decisions, making bad plays. Their heads just weren't right, and it just kept kind of spinning out of control. Now, there came a point, and this is an interesting thought, where Joe Burrow was playing well, the quarterback for the Bengals. He threw a pass, and it was intercepted by the Chiefs. And the Chiefs had a good field position, ability to turn that momentum back around, to grab that momentum and start running with it again and taking control. And on that possession, the Chiefs basically could do nothing. And so they had this opportunity to grab back the momentum, and they squandered it. And at that point, it felt like the Bengals knew it was theirs to lose, and they started doing things right. And they just started dotting the I's, crossing the T's, doing all the X's and O's, and the whole team was performing. And it just kept building on itself and building on itself. And as we went to the game, it ended up being tied in regulation, similar to the Bills game last time. And the Chiefs won the coin toss for overtime. And for those of you who don't know overtime rules, if you get the ball first and you have the ability to score a touchdown, if you score a touchdown, then you win the game. The Chiefs at that point in their minds were rattled. And the momentum was gone. The crowd was out of it. And they ended up throwing an interception. and the Bengals marched down the field, kicked a field goal, and won it. So, guys, the Bengals went into this game as heavy underdogs. They had good momentum built up from the season, but they had some hard-fought victories. Nobody expected them to win. They came in here, and when things looked rough, they did what they were supposed to. They kept the Chiefs out of the end zone at the end of that half. And they went in halftime and they made adjustments and they started doing things right. Everything they were doing wrong in the first half, they started doing right in the second half. And the Chiefs were exactly the opposite. And slowly, that one event led to this momentum shift. And that started building up, and they rode that all the way to the Super Bowl. And who knows? They may win, they may lose. But at the end of the day, they did exactly what we have to do in business. Is when things are going wrong, this is the Bengals, when things are going wrong, you keep plugging away. You don't give up. You just keep your head down and you go. And when comes an opportunity to seize that momentum, when something happens, then you got to grab it and you got to go. And once you do it, you can't let up. You got to continually do the little things that are going to lead to that momentum, eventually leading to a breakthrough. And if you do that, guys, I tell you that you can continue to build that momentum and continue to build it and continue to refine, continue to become better. And what you try to do is build that momentum and stay ahead of it and allow yourself to become the best. The Bengals have the opportunity to become the best in the NFL because they took they did those small things, they built that momentum, and now they have an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. You can do the same thing with your business. Do the small things right. When things get rough, keep your head down, keep going, keep trying to build that momentum. Go listen to my partner, Jared Duckett's podcast, Dental Momentum. It is an awesome way to learn how to keep that momentum going specific to dental practices. What I hope you get here is how important momentum is in your business and your life. So guys, I hope that's meaningful. Hopefully it's helpful. It was to me. Actually, as a matter of fact, it was very cathartic and therapeutic for me to come here and talk about this loss. I can now move on and not from my Chiefs obsession, and I can hopefully focus on Project 27, making you guys better and making myself better. Till next time, guys, take care.